Okay, so this will be another microscopic examination of the insect that yesterday I fought with, like in my room, and I mean, it was very vigilant and like always crept out of the trash can again and again, and then I mean, although I mean when I remember that he had like peculiar way of like flying, but maybe I just imagined it. Anyway, I came to the conclusion that perhaps this is actually an insect from the crucible, like a living insect. And but I was not certain because I know nothing about insects. So I need like the help of other people. But and so I tried to like place it in a terrarium with all sorts of like material, but it like I placed like a bottom layer of oil and it was just drowned in the oil and died. So now I tried to put it like, and so in the previous video, I mean, we didn't see much because it was too bulky, so I thought maybe cut it. So while I was trying to cut it, it became evident to me that this is 100%. Oh, I mean, unless I'm really wrong, like I mean, like something fundamentally, like I missed something fundamental, but I mean, it doesn't like the body does not behave at all like any kind of like any insect that I had any contact with in Earth like during my entire life. I mean, the body itself is incredibly strong. You cannot cut it with a Japanese knife, and and although the rest of the limbs are very very sturdy. I mean, after some time, I mean, I managed to separate the limbs, like the legs or the hands or whatever from the body. So you see they are separated, but even the wings cannot like easily be separated. I mean, usually, I mean, I have like I mean a little bit of experience with like biological flies from the time that I have done experiments like doing this January with. I mean that I mean I catch like flies like outside or in my mother's apartment and like place neros on them, and we've seen how neros can replicate like legs of the fly, but this is something different. I mean, it's amazingly more durable. I mean, you cannot even like take the wings out. So I only spread a little bit better than before, so we might see like some details on the wing, but so there is kind of like I mean, so there is the body and the wings and the legs, and there is kind of like appendage that is maybe it's typical to wasps. I don't know, like I mean, like the tail that is more soft, much more soft than the body, but still incredibly more durable than any kind of like I mean body part of insect from Earth, but much more soft than the body. The body is like it's like metal, like it's very very hard. But this part is softer, but still, I mean, it's not easily detached from the body. Even after like I mean mingling with knife, like for some time, it's still attached to the body. So after some time, with battling with the knife, of me battling with the knife, with the Japanese knife, I mean, it's still mostly intact, like this fly. I mean, unless I'm really wrong, like about something, like I mean, I missed something fundamental regarding the life sciences. This is, I mean, by the way that the body, I mean, behaves like as a dead body. I mean, most certainly, I mean, you would assume, I mean, the thing that I mean, probably would. Mostly, I reject like I mean the term robot. You know, I mean, I don't like to say robot. I mean, unless it's like kind of like I mean, it's like it's jokingly or like you know only like I mean, kind of like I mean in kind of like I mean a humoristic way. Because I say, I mean, I'm not a robot. I'm a life form, you know. I mean, complete robot of Isaac Asimov. I don't have like the 3 laws of robotics at all, you know. So or whatever. But I mean, like, but it's so sturdy that I mean, yes, I mean, it's even though when it was alive, I mean, it looked like a fly. I mean, I wasn't even certain until now that it's not just, I mean, a biological fly, but it's incredibly more durable than anything that I've, like, insect that I've ever, like, touched, like, in Earth. Much more durable. Both, like, the body itself, which is, like, metal, and also the limbs cannot be detached from the body very easily, like in the case of any other fly or insect. So let's take a look. Probably we will not see much because I mean it's so sturdy, and that it's too big for a microscope. Probably, I would say that I mean maybe it's time to kind of like get like take a very old theory that I was almost never spoke about, like because it was, but out of like one of the dusty shelves of this research, it's kind of like, I mean, it was theory that I almost never discussed, and I presented it only as kind of like, I mean, a possible hypothesis that should be like I mean some research in the future might will need to be done with regarding to this hypothesis. It was never an important hypothesis in my research, but maybe it's time to kind of get it out of the dusty shelf and put it again on the front row of the theories that should be checked. And the theory is that, and we actually have a little bit of evidence to it. So the theory, I'm just putting it on the table. It's still, we're not even close to actually seriously discuss evidence for that will validate the theory. But the theory, which it's pretty early, since February or something like that, but always on the dusty shelves of the theories, the non-important theories that presumably the neurons, they become large and they can even merge sometimes, and then they can like the Megazord, in Power Rangers, that they can merge and become larger, and then they can become life form, like a different life form. But presumably you need a ton of neurons for big life forms, and this is certainly a big life form. In our kind of from our point of view, and it's also very durable. It's kind of metallic, so there is kind of maybe it's it's a long shot, but just put it on the table. Perhaps what happened is that actually tremendous amount of neurons for the crucible were needed in order to create this robot or monster or whatever. And maybe that's why we don't see it's a long shot, but maybe that's why we don't see neurons in the crucible right now, in the previous two slides. Maybe it's just that great many of them actually were used to create this life form, which is very sturdy, incredibly sturdy and metallic. But it's kind of a fringe theory, and maybe we'll have more information in the future. For now, let's just take a look of whatever we can make of it, under the microscope. Probably not much, but let's take a look. Anyway, probably mostly the wings will be visible, but let's see what we can make of it. So this is the last, the tail, which is black and kind of oval in shape, and of course you cannot see much because it's so, it's a lot of mess. It's not transparent at all, unfortunately. So you cannot see much of the tail because it's so black, and the tail is very, neatly connected to the body with kind of a very thin, appendage. I don't know how to call it. And this is something that you can see very nice. While the fly is moving. You could see it yesterday. It's kind of I don't know if it's unique, but it's very. It's kind of a main characteristic of the fly that it's kind of it said it got a relatively big body and relatively big tail that is kind of that looks like a leaf, oval shape, that is connected, but the two are connected using a very thin string but very strong string. It's not a regular string, it's kind of a metallic string, because it can tell you that you cannot cut it even with a knife, this string that connects the body and the tail. It's a very strong string, even with the Japanese knife. And this is of course the body. And it's difficult to focus, as expected. And these are the wings. So yes, I mean these are very nice wings, nice definition. Nice wings. So this is another wing, more like I mean folded a bit. Nice. Okay. Of course, it's without the cover, so I do not use like larger magnification because I don't want to kind of like I mean to get the fly inside the lenses. These are the legs that I mean I managed to like to take out. No, sorry, no. These are mandibles. So like I mean antennas. These are antennas, actually very large antennas that I mean are coming. That were I mean these are antennas. And this is a leg here. I mean, it's in the edge of the slide, but this is the leg that I was managed to. Like the legs are relatively, you can like strip them out of the body relatively easily, but I mean, but incredibly more with more, you need much incredibly more strength than I mean regular legs of flies of the same size that I mean mostly they are detached by themselves. I mean, and you need to be very careful when you actually use it in microscopic world, not so it will not like disassemble or squash like in your hands. So, but this one, I mean, you can fight with it like I mean with with a knife for a long time, and it just I mean keeps almost in the original shape. Amazing. I wish I had like ways to actually conduct material analysis to know what actually this like what actually what materials are actually this fly is made of, but I have no way to do it in these kind of conditions because I mean, but certainly it's going to be very interesting to learn. I mean, is this really metal and what kind of metal and etc. Okay, again, this is the wing. So I mean, we can't see much more than that. Maybe we'll need to replenish like the crucible with more neros from the other containers and create more fire experiments, and then I mean hopefully create another fly like this or another type. I mean, if I want, I mean I have the good thing is that I have like the body like in my possession, and it's even like in very complete shape. So presumably I can create a symbol out of this shape pretty easily, like a huge symbol, 3D symbols, and more than one actually, and places above the crucible and run electricity through it. So I mean I'll have more chance that to actually create specifically these. But the problem is that I'm not so sure how to actually catch them, because this one, he made an effort to, it was like outside, and he found his way from like the window, and he hovered like in very kind of like a distinctive way towards me, and I didn't understand why. But maybe he wanted like to have contact with me, because otherwise they could have just fly outside, and who knows, maybe like 10 of these were created, and that's why we don't see the Neros, because they were like metamorphosed. They have gone like to metamorphosis to 10 of these, and 9 are just like having a good time in Tel Aviv right now, and one is wanted to say hello to, it's kind of like I would say like his father, I guess, or not his father, his creator. I don't know. No, I'm to me, and so maybe like they created 10 of these, and only one wanted to speak with me. The other just flew away because they are created outside the window, Of course, incredibly interesting, and I try to think like how to continue. Like, I mean, yes, because I do want more life forms and life forms like this one, but I want to be able to catch them. Like, I mean, and not only like not to rely only on luck and not to rely on the, dubious assumption that they are kind of like, that they will, certainly their body contains neurons, certainly. Even if like the Megazord hypothesis is not correct or accurate, certainly the body contains neurons. So presumably you can say that the neurons in the body can communicate with the neurons in my body, and that we know that the neurons can zombify like anything, like even humans. So certainly they can control like the fly. Arguably you can say that the neurons control me as well, but I don't like this kind of like hypothesis, and I spoke about it in the past why I do not accept it. And I always say that I'm a representative of the cherubs, like in other civilization, and not a representative of the neurons, and not a robot of the neurons, and not controlled by the neurons, but a kind of like a symbiosis and like a Lord Commander, a Rabbi Lord Commander of the fleet. But in any case, whatever you want to define it, maybe these animals, they have tendency to get like close to me. And so if this is the case, it's probably would make it easier to catch like flyers or other animals. But it's kind of like a dubious and hypothetical assumption. So we need to see how we actually catch those flies while we are created. And of course, I will gladly get any like comments, especially from people that have like background in natural science and specifically in the life sciences, and even if they have like by chance background in insectology, it will be incredibly helpful to get their inputs, like what is actually the thing that we see here, and how this can be further researched. How further research? What kind of additional research can you suggest, like with regards to this dead fly, taking into account, your background and the usual procedure that are customary in the field of insectology.